Okay, so we're going to learn a new way to write the equation of a line. Last week we did the the slope-intercept form, where everything was in terms of y equals, because that gave us the slope, and it gave us our y-intercept, which we could graph off of. But sometimes it's a lot easier to use a different equation, which is what we're calling point slope, because there are times where honestly you are just given 1 point and just the slope. Whereas last week you were given 2 points, and so it's a lot easier sometimes to do slope-intercept, or you're given the intercept. So writing the equation of a line, it's always about what you're given and which form is the best, the most useful. So we're going to learn how to do the point slope. Again, it's when you have the slope and when you're given 1 or 2 points. So the equation of a line in point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times quantity, which is what we do with our parentheses, x minus x1. And remember, our point is always written in the form of x1 and y1. So what you're going to plug in is you're going to plug in these. You're going to plug in your y1, you're going to plug in your m, and you're going to plug in your x1. Everything else stays the same. Okay? So continue to write this down. Hit pause if you need to. I'm going to erase. And all we're really going to do is I'm going to give you the point and the slope, and we're going to put it in the equation of a line using this formula. So it shouldn't be too bad. Okay, you don't need to rewrite this, but since I erased, I'm going to rewrite my formula, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, so examples. My directions are to write an equation of a line. That's it. That's all we want. And what if we're given, for number 1, what if you're given a slope of 1/2 and a point, which we're going to call P, point P of 1 and 3. So I want you to come and label this x1, y1, and we're going to put it in this form. Well, again, what we're plugging in is these 3. So I keep my y and I write minus 3 because that's my y coordinate. My slope is 1/2, and I do x, and my x1 is 1. So this is an equation of a line. You can leave it like this. This is your answer right there. So example number 2. What if I have a slope of -2/3 and a point of, let's do 3 and 5. We'll keep this nice first. Well, we write y minus. My y1 is 5. My m is -2/3, parentheses x minus 3. And that's it. That's point slope form. So we're done. Now, since my point slope form is with subtraction, we have to be really careful of our signs. So our slope is okay. Our slope can be any sign, and I'm not really going to be concerned about it. But when my point, let's say we do -1, 2, we have to kind of be careful here. So I still get y minus 2 because I'm just plugging in that 2. And here's my slope, but when I go to do x minus, it's really x minus -1. Because my x coordinate is negative, my formula tells me to subtract it. And we have to remember that when you minus a negative, they become positive. So you have to simplify it, because we're not allowed to write x minus a negative. It's not in simplified form. So your final answer is actually this guy. It's y minus 2 equals -4/5, parentheses x plus 1, because a negative minus a negative is a positive. So be really careful when your points are negative. Okay? Let's do another one where we have some negatives. So again, slope, not really concerned about here, but my point, let's do for -3. So x1, y1. So now I do y minus, and my y coordinate here is -3. So it's y minus -3. So I'm back to double negative, so I know I'm going to have to simplify that. I have a negative slope of 3, x minus 4, I'm fine. So we'll just leave it at that. I have to simplify him. So a negative minus a negative is a positive. So my final answer is y plus 3 equals -3x minus 4. Okay, last one of these type, because I think they're fairly simple, is let's just make sure we can do it when we have two negatives. So m equals 1/2. I have a -7 and a -5. Again, make sure you label your x and your y's because it doesn't go in order. We always start with our y's first, and we want to make sure we plug in the right coordinate. So I'm going to do y minus a -5. So I know I'm going to have to simplify that. I get 1/2 for my slope, and I get x minus a -7. So now I have to simplify both of these. A negative minus a negative becomes positive. So my final answer here is y plus 5, 1/2 times x plus 7. That's your final answer. So hopefully this isn't too bad, just again, be really concerned with those negatives. Okay, so we want to know what happens, and let me get rid of this example, when you are, how to solve when you're given just 2 points. Well, you know how much I love steps. So our first step is you have to solve for your slope. Because remember, this is point slope formula. So you need to know what your slope is. So you're going to solve for slope. And remember, your equation is m equals y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. So once you have your slope, you can then plug it in choosing either point. So once you solve for your slope, you're going to pick one point, and it doesn't matter which one of the two that you're given. Pick one point, I'll write the word out, and plug it in into point slope form. With your, should we say new slope or discovered slope, with your found, we'll call it found, with your found slope, because you just solved for it. Okay, so those are our steps. So let's do our examples. Hit pause if necessary. So I'm going to put my steps off to the side. So we're always going to solve for a slope, and then we're going to plug in your slope in one point. Okay, so examples, and your directions are find the equation of a line. So what if I'm given points, for example, 1, 0, 7. Well, we solve for slope. So x1, y1, x2, y2. We plug it into our formula. Whoops, y2, apologize. 9 minus 7 over 1 minus 0 gives me 2 over 1. So I have a slope of 2 over 1. So then I've done my first thing, I've solved for slope. I'm going to choose one point. So I'm going to choose point 0, 7. So I have a slope of 2 over 1, and my point is 0, 7. So I'm going to plug that in to my equation of a line. I'm going to relabel this as x1, y1. So I get y minus 7 equals 2 over 1, x minus 0. And yes, we could simplify because we know x minus 0 is simply x, but this truly shows that the point, the coordinate point, is 0, 7. So we like to leave it this way. Okay? So solve for slope because you have 2 points. You can always solve for slope with 2 points. And then pick 1 point and plug it in. So I want you to try to do the next one on your own. So we'll write it out. And then hit pause, see what you can do, and then come back and hopefully you and I have the same answer. Let's do 3, -1, and 6, 7. Okay, so hit pause, try it on your own, then come on back. I'm going to solve for slope, because that's my first step. x1, y1, x2, y2. So I have 7 minus a -1, so I'm going to be careful of those double negatives. 6 minus 3. So really this gives me 7 plus 1 over 3, which is 8 over 3, which is not a friendly number, but you can graph it, so we'll take it. I'm going to use this as my point, so I have a slope of 8 over 3, and I have a point of 3 and -1. So this is my x1 and this is my y1, and I'm just going to plug it into my equation. So I get y minus -1, so again, got to be careful of those double negatives. My slope is 8 over 3, and I'm now going to do x minus 3. I need to simplify him. So y plus 1 equals 8 over 3 quantity x minus 3. And now I have an equation of a line with a slope and a point. And that's it. That's all you really need to do. So let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, good luck on the homework, and well, that you'll be getting tomorrow. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Have a good night.